If you're looking for an awesome product at a great price, be sure to check out the link in the description. In a developing story, Prime Minister Anthony Albanese is facing mounting pressure from within his own Labour Party, as well as the Greens, to take a tougher stance on Israel amidst the ongoing conflict and escalating humanitarian crisis in Gaza. Albanese has responded to calls for further actions against Israel, such as additional sanctions, by dismissing them as mere slogans, emphasizing the government's focus on meaningful action. The Prime Minister's remarks come as Australia, alongside 14 other nations, has expressed support for recognizing Palestine as a crucial step towards a two-state solution. This stance links progress on Palestinian statehood to the upcoming United Nations General Assembly meeting in September. Albanese is scheduled to hold further discussions with his UK counterpart, Keir Starmer, in the coming days. Starmer has pledged to recognize the state of Palestine in September if Israel adheres to a ceasefire and commits to a two-state solution. However, Albanese has stopped short of making a similar commitment, stating that the focus is on the circumstances that will facilitate the creation of two states, rather than adhering to a specific timeline. He has reiterated his long-standing support for a two-state solution, aiming to achieve peace rather than making political statements. This position has drawn criticism from some Labour MPs, including Ed Husic, Albanese's former science minister. Husic is urging Australia to immediately join the UK and France in recognising Palestinian statehood, framing it as a matter of moral momentum. Husic believes that recognising statehood would weaken Hamas's influence over Gaza, potentially accelerating the peace process and the flow of humanitarian aid. Meanwhile, the opposition's finance spokesperson, James Patterson, maintains that Palestinian recognition should only occur at the conclusion of a peace process, cautioning that premature recognition could be extremely counterproductive. Adding to the complexity of the situation, Albanese has previously criticized Israel for obstructing aid into Gaza, accusing the nation of violating international law. He has also warned that Benjamin Netanyahu's government is losing support internationally. The federal government has already imposed sanctions and travel bans on 2 Israeli government ministers for inciting violence against Palestinians in the West Bank, highlighting their commitment to what Albanese calls meaningful action. The Zionist Federation of Australia has expressed deep concern about the humanitarian situation in Gaza, urging Israel to ensure adequate aid reaches Palestinian civilians without delay. Their statement contrasts with reports of starvation denials from the Israeli embassy in Australia. The group's president, Jeremy Leibler, emphasized the collective moral obligation of both Israel and the United Nations to address the suffering of innocent civilians. The Greens have also voiced their concern, with Senator David Shoebridge criticizing Albanese's characterization of alternative approaches as slogans, arguing that sanctions against the Israeli government are necessary actions. The senator insists that empty slogans without action will not feed starving children in Gaza. Furthermore, support for sanctions and Palestinian statehood continues to grow within the Labour Party, with the Victorian Labour State Conference set to debate a motion urging further sanctions on Israel and the recognition of Palestinian statehood. Similar motions from the Labour Friends of Palestine have been passed by numerous local Labour branches in recent weeks. The opposition leader, Susan Ley, has refrained from directly criticizing Israel, describing the situation in Gaza as complex. This evolving situation highlights the sensitive balance Australia's government is trying to strike between its international relationships, its commitment to humanitarian principles, and the deeply entrenched political views of all sides in this complicated international issue. The pressure on Prime Minister Albanese to take further action, and the debate on how to do it effectively, are only likely to intensify as the crisis in Gaza continues to unfold.